Well, we've already had plenty of action in this competition today. Manchester United defeated 4-1 by Liverpool in the big derby that's just been completed. Benfica beaten on penalties by Juventus after a 1-1 draw. Same situation between Chelsea and Inter, with a penalty shootout going in Chelsea's favour. And earlier, Arsenal made a terrific start to their International Champions Cup campaign with a 5-1 drubbing of the French champions Paris Saint-Germain. Plenty of familiar faces in this Bayern lineup, not least Arjen Robben there, making his final preparations. 34 years of age now. Ribéry 35, Wagner 30. Sven Ulreich, the goalkeeper, 29, much more youthful for Manchester City. Only Claudio Bravo is in his 30s. The rest are in their early 20s or teens. Champions meet here is the slogan of this wonderful global tournament. These two were both runaway champions domestically last season. City winning by 19 points in the Premier League from arch rivals Manchester United. Bayern 21 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga. This is how they line up. There are 7 changes after that defeat by Juventus, but some of the big guns, as we've mentioned, are returning. Arjen Robben, David Alaba, Rafinha and Kingsley Coman are all included, with Franck Ribéry and Sandro Wagner retained. Youngsters Jonathan Meyer at left back, American centre-half Chris Richards, and the former Swansea loanee Renato Sanchez, a Euro 2016 winner with Portugal, also feature in their starting lineup. Manchester City make 2 changes to the team which lost against Liverpool. Experienced defender Aymeric Laporte returns for Jason Denayer at centre-half. Brazilian Douglas Luiz replaces Jack Harrison in midfield. New signing Riyad Mahrez makes his 3rd appearance of the tournament. Goalkeeper Claudio Bravo captains the side, with Joe Hart still among the substitutes. There are the officials, led by Ted Unkel, all from the United States, ready to get us underway in this outstanding stadium. We've had Hard Rock cafes, Hard Rock hotels, we've now got Hard Rock stadiums as well. There is the Manchester City captain, Claudio Bravo, whose country, Chile, of course, didn't feature in the World Cup. They failed to qualify. Both of these sides have an absolute host of players rested after their exertions in Russia to varying degrees of success. So City in their traditional strip, kicking off, attacking the goal to our left-hand side in this opening half. Bayern wearing red and black. Well, it's been a mixed bag in this tournament. I suppose, Don, you can forgive Manchester City for losing their first 2 games. In both cases, they've played very, very youthful sides. Let's just pause while we concentrate on that mistake. And Bayern have an early chance, and it was Ribéry getting forward who just knocks it through and was unable to find an opponent.
Yeah, I think the positives of Pep Guardiola's backroom staff, especially with the youngsters that have produced in this tournament. I've seen them against Liverpool the other night, and a couple of players to look out for. I thought Luke Bolton over on the right-hand side, he might play as a wing-back or at right-back, was excellent. Very pacey, very strong. Young Lucas Nemecha leading the line up front, really physically strong. He can run, he can cover the distance very, very easy. We know about Phil Foden and Zinchenko, but Eric Garcia, 17-year-old Spaniard at the heart of the defence, he can really play. You can see he's come out of the Barcelona school and he's a very talented player.
It'll be fascinating to see how City's young guns fare. Here's one of the not-so-young guns, Aymeric Laporte, wearing 14, who has never played for France, the World Cup winners, under-21 international. Came into the City lineup last season on a big money transfer from Athletic Bilbao. Here comes City driving forward. There's a man out spare, Zinchenko, on this left-hand side. Clever cutback by him. This is Foden. Still City come forward. Brahim Diaz gets the better of the defender. And the shot is eventually blocked when it came in. And it was Foden again involved.
Oh, wonderful work from Brahim Diaz. He started the move in the centre of midfield and he drove on. He went past two or three players like they weren't there. Very easy for him. Just couldn't find that end product.
It's a promising start for Manchester City's youngsters. And here they come again. Diaz again involved. Cross is rather overhit this time from the right-hand side. But it's been kept alive here by Zinchenko with a double step over, knocked away by Alaba. And Bayern Munich know they're in a game. Ball has barely been in the City half, and once again Brahim Diaz, who looks a very, very useful young player indeed, is trying to make inroads into the Bayern Munich penalty area. Moroccan father, 18 years of age, the Spaniard.
Yeah, he just lost his bearings slightly there, Diaz, because he had a chance. It was wonderful work from Riyad Mahrez, little step over, and the weighted pass was very, very good. He just wasn't so sure that Rafinha was just tucking in. Good defensive work from Rafinha. And City have started well.
It's a lovely crossfield ball by Laporte. And they're linking again. Mahrez plays it in towards the danger area, where it's cleared by Bayern. Still City come scampering forward. This time the ball is knocked away again by the experienced Austrian international David Alaba, who's already having a busy old time at the heart of Bayern's defence. And Pep Guardiola there with Mikel Arteta must be pretty happy with the way the opening 4 minutes have panned out.
Absolutely.
Maintain it.
Looks like he started with three centre-halves, and Humphries, Garcia and Laporte, Zinchenko left wing-back, and young Luke Bolton high up on the right-hand side.
Alaba out to Rafinha, and again City very hungry to win the ball back. Here's Zinchenko, the Ukrainian international, who did appear in the Premier League last season. He made 14 appearances in all competitions for City now. Referee has a decision to make, and the decision there is no penalty. You can hear the City fans' reaction to it. Oh, and that's a chancy ball
Bayern
across the face of the goal by Bayern, who've, as you were just about to say, have started poorly, I think.
Absolutely, and shaky as well. It was young Chris Richards who looked very, very nervy, but it's almost like 5 minutes in, Man City are actually setting traps. This was the penalty claim, and there was a little nudge there from Chris Richards on Riyad Mahrez. It might have been a penalty.
Debatable. Mahrez is still down now. That's not something Manchester City fans will want to see. £60 million signing from Leicester City. Record. And after 5 minutes, he's wincing in pain. This might be a matter of some concern for Pep Guardiola. Mahrez is the one really, really big name. Let's have another look at what happens here. I'm not entirely convinced there's enough there to warrant a penalty kick. He's gone down holding his ankle. And certainly wasn't any contact by young Richards that caused the ankle to go, which is perhaps even more worrying. He maybe has turned it. He's up on his feet again now. And they don't want to lose him so early because they've made such a good start.
Yeah, inside 5 minutes was all like Man City was setting traps for Bayern Munich. Anytime David Alaba or Rafinha played any balls into Renato Sanchez or Paul Ville, Douglas Luiz and Phil Foden have been all over them, trying to win the ball back high up the pitch very, very early, Man City. And it's worked.
This is Rafinha, the Brazilian right fullback. You just need to wake up a little bit, Bayern. Just have a feel of the ball. Here is young Richards again, who will be popular with the American supporters here. He's one of the country's best young players, but they've given it away again. And there's a chance here. And it goes begging, although there was an offside flag with Brahim Diaz trying to get down that inside right channel.
It was Sven Ulreich's mistake. He deputised really well for Manuel Neuer last season. Look at the clearance.
They're absolutely all over the place, Bayern Munich. They've just put another one straight out of play. We're just looking at it again, clearly offside.
It's an awful clearance, even though it's on his weaker left side. Just couldn't stay onside, Man City, because they won the ball back high up the pitch.
Well, here's Ribéry finding Rafinha, and now Alaba. It's a poor ball as well. First touch for Claudio Bravo since the opening minute. This is Zinchenko. And now Mahrez, who's fit again. Great ball, great chance. And Mecha is denied by a rather better piece of work from Sven Ulreich this time. But that was a really good opening for City. And Mahrez carved it out. And Mecha, who's a big, strong, solid centre forward, hit it well enough. But the goalkeeper was there to block.
Yeah, he pulled himself on the angle, and Mecha. It was a clever run from the 19-year-old. Shame about the finish.
Once again, Bayern are in danger of inviting City on with a catalogue of mistakes in the opening 8 minutes of this match.
I think it's probably clear to see where both teams are in their preparations. Bayern, as I said before, are 4 weeks away from that game against Hoffenheim. And Man City at the moment look fresher, they look fitter.
Yeah.
And they're obviously 2 weeks ahead in pre-season. That's showing.
Well, they've got the Community Shield, haven't they, against Chelsea coming up early August. Here's Zinchenko. It's rather sloppy, and Ribéry can't get a foot on it, though. Laporte will have a look around, instead decides to go backwards. Eric Garcia with the square ball, and that's an excellent ball down the line. Chance here for City. Early ball in is needed. Alaba is across to clear. But they've absolutely carved Bayern apart on numerous occasions. This was the earlier chance for Mecha. Goalkeeper got his angles right.
Absolutely. Wasn't the greatest to finish from the youngster. Should have went across goal.
Here they come again. Zinchenko trying to get in at the back post. It was half cleared by Bayern. They just cannot get their foot on the ball, the German champions at the moment.
Got to get it out wide. That's where their strengths are. Kingsley Coman and Robben.
Foden is dispossessed by Jonathan Meyer. Sandro Wagner back there helping out his defence, the Bayern centre forward. Neither of these sides have any chance of winning this competition. City, of course, without a point as yet. Bayern could only reach 6 with a victory inside 90 minutes. Dortmund, their German rivals, already have 7 points.
City seem to have the extra man on the right-hand side, and it's Luke Bolton at the moment. So much space.
This is an excellent run down the right-hand side. It's too close to the goalkeeper, though. But it was full of purpose by Cameron Humphreys down that flank, overlapping from centre-half, and it was gathered at the feet of Mecha by Ulreich, who's been a very busy goalkeeper. He was busy last season, actually made 47 appearances, of course, because of that long injury to Manuel Neuer. 10 minutes gone, City all over Bayern, but without anything to show for it as yet. Here's Ribéry. Kingsley Coman, not in the French squad that won the World Cup, but borderline. Yeah, well, it's a lovely run by him, and it comes through. It's a real chance, and it's wasted. Real opportunity for Bayern to carve out chance, but it went begging.
Yeah, with Niko Kovac, you want more of that. You want more from the wide players. Kingsley Coman done really, really well when the ball's at his feet, very, very quick. As is Arjen Robben on that right-hand side. He's a bright young manager, Niko Kovac, done a terrific job at Eintracht Frankfurt last season.
He's a former Bayern Munich player. He's only the third former Bayern player to manage the club after Franz Beckenbauer and Jürgen Klinsmann. Now then, City coming forward, and Metsch's onto it. Alaba did well, just read the situation, got himself where he needed to be to make the clearance.
Just slightly overhit there from Diaz, but credit the youngster for spotting the run of Nemetcha. Showed very good vision.
There's Paul Ville, the young central midfield player. One of the youngsters at Bayern, 19 years old. Ribéry almost loses out. Ville has to tidy up again. Alaba looking to get it forward. Koeman with the touch. And again. Once again, Bayern are unable to get any kind of momentum going. And once again, City are on the charge here. And it's Metsch's. And he's at the post. Glorious chance, beat the keeper, couldn't beat the woodwork. The City absolutely battering on the door, but they can't knock it down at the moment.
You feel it's only a matter of time because Bayern Munich's fullbacks, Meyer and Rafinha, are playing really high up the pitch, was leaving the two centre-halves exposed, and any ball down the flanks is causing Bayern so many problems. Unlucky with a finish. Does the right thing on this occasion, the Metsch's going across goal.
He was actually born in Germany, Lucas Metsch's, before moving to the UK as a child. He's an England under-21 international. Here come Bayern trying to create some kind of panic. This is Arjen Robben, of whom we've barely seen anything so far. And it's a great tackle by Zinchenko. And again, City will be thrilling their supporters, both here and watching at home, with the way these youngsters have started. Diaz with a clever ball down the line, just a little over hip. It's been a wonderful start, but they look so confident.
And I think what's happening is, I think tactics has more or less gone out the window in the first 15 minutes of this game. Both teams just attacking each other. Every time City go forward with their youngsters, you feel as though their pace down the side is going to cause the two centre-halves, Richard and Alaba, lots of problems. But equally, when Bayern go forward out wide, especially with Kingsley Coman, they look at the great chances as well. It was good defending from Zinchenko, 1v1 with Arjen Robben. It's a real open game. It's good to watch. It's a good game.
It's well defended for Manchester City. And they're on the front foot again here with Foden, who looks very, very lively, although he's lost sight of the ball there. Here's Ribéry. Now then, here come Bayern looking to go ahead against the run of play, and they've done just that. Cross from the right-hand side, and the header is firm and into the net, and totally against the run of play. The Bayern supporters are celebrating. Meritan Shabani getting on the end of a cross by Rafinha and planting a very good header into the net. He's a 19-year-old who's German-born with Kosovan parents. Got his head firmly onto the wonderful cross by Rafinha, and City will be wondering how on earth they've managed to get themselves behind.
Yeah, it's been a good start to the game, been a good watch. It's been very, very open. But it's a goal that Pep will be absolutely furious about because they've dominated the ball. Good work from Rafinha. And Bayern find themselves 1-0 up inside 15 minutes, right against the run of play.
Well, City, you said it, Don, it was when rather than if we got a goal, but we weren't expecting one at the end. We got it.
It's just been an open game. It's been a great game to watch.
It's been good. Here's Metsch's, but he's given the ball away.
You just get the impression if it carries on like this, there'll be more goals, more chances.
Yeah. As you say, every time either side get the ball, the only intention is to score, and there's another well-intentioned drive. Koeman hitting it left-footed, and Claudio Bravo down at his post, and immediately City are on the counter here. Mahrez finding Foden, and then Bolton.
Yeah, well, the impression I'm getting from watching the opening 60 minutes of this game, it's not going to stay 1-0. There's going to be more chances and more goals.
It's another crossfield ball by Laporte, who's played a couple of those very accurately so far.
If City can just switch it, Zinchenko's in a lot of room. That's where they're strong at the moment. Got to keep working it wide, shift the ball a little bit quicker, make Ian Robben and Kingsley Coman track back.
Here's Zinchenko. Now Laporte. Cameron Humphreys. And the first 18 minutes have flown past. Kingsley Coman, the latest to try and find the net, blocked by Claudio Bravo's splendid stop. This is the first real lull we've had in the proceedings.
Yeah, it'll be a test for City now, 1-0 behind. They've dominated the ball. Can they stay patient? Can they stay true to the manager's beliefs? I'm pretty sure they will.
Claudio Bravo, by some distance, the elder statesman in the Manchester City side, 35. The next oldest is Riyad Mahrez at 27. He's Ulreich, the Bayern goalkeeper, who had a mixed start, a couple of poor clearances, but a very good save as well. This is Rafinha, who's cross set up the goal for Shabani. This is Ville. Now Alaba. Bayern have just regained a little bit of composure since they got that goal.
Yeah, they're growing into the game. It's a little bit better than how they started, I must admit.
The one thing I think Pep Guardiola will be worried about is that they've only really had one serious attack and the defenders were not able to deal with it. Here is the man who got the goal, Shabani. This is Ribéry, Koeman, and Ribéry again, two Frenchmen combining, but City have won it back. The ball back by Brahim Diaz is not the best, and it's a very, very nice piece of defending there to cut the ball out by Aymeric Laporte.
Yeah, that's a small margin. As soon as City win the ball back, Diaz can't waste possession because Man City were away on the counter-attack, and Bayern Munich had a number of players that were out of position, so a sloppy pass there from the youngster.
There's Ville. That's nicely done. That was less so. Bayern's next appointment is a match against Manchester United at the Allianz Arena in Munich on August the 5th, the same day that Manchester City faced Chelsea, the FA Cup winners, in the Community Shield at Wembley Stadium. It's almost as if that concession of a goal has drained a little bit of the belief out of Manchester City, who started so well.
I think they just need a spell of possession just to regain their confidence. I don't think they've lost any. They've just lost a little bit of flow that they had.
Here's Diaz. It's well cut out by Bayern, and suddenly Coman's on his bike here, and he is a pacey player.
Be a good foot race that between himself and Bolton, because he is really quick.
Here's Ribéry. He's overcooked that ball.
Seen the Liverpool game the other day against Man City, and Luke Bolton had a foot race with Fabinho, and he left him for absolute dead. He couldn't get anywhere near him. Absolutely rapid, the youngster. Yeah, that'll be a good foot race tonight, himself and Kingsley Coman.
Yeah. Well matched in pace, those two. Coman just about winning that previous little run. There's the new Bayern boss, born in Germany but of Croatian parentage. It's a nice little flick on, doesn't quite come through to Sandro Wagner, the tall Bayern striker. Stormed out of international football after not being selected for the World Cup. Now then, here comes City. Would break on, but it's a poor touch. And Ulreich is easily able to make sure that there was no progress made there by Luke Bolton. Does like to get forward from right wing back. Here's Ribéry for Bayern. It's a clever ball. Robben's in the box and scores brilliantly. Well, you can't afford to give Arjen Robben that kind of space, even in his mid-30s. Bayern Munich in probably a 2-0 up, and Robben has scored an absolutely wonderful goal.
Absolutely stunning ball from Frank Ribéry. He found himself at least 45 yards away, got in a little bit of room, and we've seen that run many a time from Arjen Robben. He always comes from out to in, from that right-hand side on his favoured left foot. You know, once he's in front of goal, bearing down on Claudio Bravo, he's always going to finish that. Fantastic finish that was. Stunning goal from Bayern.
And it was a glorious first touch by Robben, just to take the ball away from Claudio Bravo. Bravo then tried to narrow it, but by the time he got there, Robben had adeptly chipped it over him. That is a magnificent goal. And Bayern Munich find themselves 2 goals to the good, with just a quarter of the game gone, and City's youngsters must be feeling a little bit shell-shocked now after creating so much in the opening period, and Mecha hitting the post. But suddenly they're 2 goals down, and it could get worse for them here. Just about smuggled that one away with the deflection away for a corner. Niko Kovac will be pretty pleased with what's transpired since that lively start by City. Eric Garcia was the player who conceded the corner.
Yeah, he's got big shoes to fill, hasn't he, Niko Kovac? Jopanka's done a terrific job last season. It's 2 players who know each other inside out, Frank Ribéry and Arjen Robben. That's why Robben made the run, because he knew Frank Ribéry could find him.
Corner then to Bayern. City will need to be on their toes here. Bravo flapped. There's Ribéry. Well, he might be both in their mid-30s, but the quality hasn't diminished. Ribéry and Robben woven inextricably into the history of Bayern Munich. It's good play by Foden. There's a City player down. It's Riyad Mahrez again. He's still troubled by that ankle. Hasn't really got into the game very much. He played 1 good ball forward to give Lucas Mecha a chance, but once again Pep Guardiola is looking on in a slightly anxious manner as he talks to the 4th official, Rubiel Vasquez.
This is a worry.
It is a worry.
I don't think Pep will take any chances with Riyad Mahrez.
Not when you've spent 60 million quid on one of the most talented players in the English game. It looks like that is it for Mahrez, and Guardiola may well be about to replace him with Bernardo Silva, the Portuguese World Cup player. Gives the rest of the squad the opportunity, and Bayern's players, to just take a break and take stock of things.
Well, they've got lucky, I must admit, Bayern, because I think the first 15 minutes Man City absolutely dominated them and looked as though at any given time, and they were carving them open. They probably should have been 1 or 2-0 up, Man City, before Bayern got their first one. Since then, they've grown in confidence, they've had time and space on the ball, and that's a lesson for the likes of Douglas Luiz and Phil Foden. You can't give Frank Ribery time and space, because these guys are so good, they'll pick a pass.
Well, the Germans in the crowd are happy enough, despite the fact that, as you say, their team were in danger of being 2-0 down rather than 2-0 up with a quarter of an hour gone. Confirmation that Mahrez is off, and Bernardo Silva has come on for City. Played in all 4 games for Portugal in the World Cup before they were defeated by Uruguay. But that will be a worry for Pep Guardiola. Let's hope that Riyad Mahrez's injury is not a serious one, because he's an exciting talent. Whether you support Manchester City or not, you want to see him week in, week out in the Premier League. Here's City trying to get back on firm terms. Foden with the strike. Couldn't quite get it on target, but that was more like it from City. That was the kind of chances they were creating at will in the opening 15 minutes. It wasn't a bad effort by Foden, trying to control it on the volley.
It's not a bad effort at all, anywhere lower than he scores, but again, it was good work from Bolton. He's been a thorn in Bayern's side. Jonathan Meyer at the moment, a left-back, can't live with Bolton. That was a chance.
Foden's been with Manchester City since he was 8 years old. Made his Premier League debut as a substitute against Tottenham in December, having led the England under-17s to World Cup glory in India. Here's Arjen Robben. It's another clever ball forward towards Wagner, who wasn't quite on the same wavelength.
You can just see, though, in 2 or 3 weeks' time, when Bayern are up to speed, those sort of passes will come off. It was very slick play.
Here's Zinchenko. And Mecha. And now Ribéry. And Robben again! Great save. Well, that would have been 3-0, but for Claudio Bravo with a magnificent block from Arjen Robben's instinctive first-time effort. And City are grateful to their keeper. It's not 3 that they trail by, but here's Brahim Diaz. He's got Mecha for company. And he went for the clever chip and got it all wrong.
Couple of chances
at both ends.
Couple of chances at either end, and I think Emerick Laporte gets lucky as well. It's a brilliant strike from Arjen Robben. Brilliant save from Claudio Bravo, and Emerick Laporte just left a little bit on. The Bayern player couldn't quite see in real time who it was, and it might have been a penalty at the other end. Half a chance for Man City.
Yeah, there's all sorts going on there. Robben's shot brilliantly saved, as you say. Questionable whether there was a penalty, although there weren't any huge appeals from Bayern players. And at the other end, Brahim Diaz just trying to be a little too cute with the finish.
He's lost none of his quality, hasn't he, Arjen Robben? He's so talented. Even at 34, he's still a threat.
Yeah, he's been consistently excellent throughout his career. 2 titles, an FA Cup and 2 League Cups, of course, during his time at Chelsea. A title with Real Madrid as well. Just the 7 titles with Bayern Munich and 3 cups. Here he is again.
I think he'd like to stay away from injuries this season.
He's onto that left foot with one of those classic runs of his. He's found Ribéry now. Header not quite what he wanted. He was trying to bring someone else into play rather than go for goal, but he went straight to goalkeeper Bravo, who's been pretty busy in the last few moments.
Yeah, it was Sandro Wagner that he was just trying to find. Frank Ribery just couldn't quite pull that one off. Got to be careful they don't lose a third here, City.
Yeah. Here's Bernardo Silva, who's come on to replace the injured Mahrez. He's playing in a central midfield position. This is Garcia. Now Laporte, City in danger of finishing with 0 points in the International Champions Cup. Could finish bottom of the 18 clubs taking part, although to be fair, they have got one of the more youthful sides. Here's Foden, who's shown glimpses to us, hasn't he, tonight, of his undoubted ability. And I suspect that he's going to become a more regular, high-profile matchday performer in the months to come.
Yeah, I think he's the odds-on player at the moment that's going to make some appearances from the bench from Man City. Very, very hard job that is with the superstar players that they've got.
Yeah.
He seems to be breaking through. He's got the talent.
Well, he didn't just win a World Cup medal at under-17 level. He scored twice in the final against Spain and was voted best player at the tournament. Picked up the golden ball.
A slight worry for Pep. Nothing to do with this tournament, but the players that are not playing in this tournament, is how he acclimatises them into the first team in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
They don't seem to have had. We're going to have a lot of rest, and then have they got the match sharpness to step straight into the Premier League?
Well, no club had more players at the World Cup than Manchester City. Bayern Munich had a fair few as well, including Corentin Tolisso, who was member of the winning French team.
And I think likewise, coincidentally, is Man City's opponents on the first day of the season, which is Arsenal. And they didn't have a great deal of players, so their players theoretically should be nice and fresh.
Well, they beat Paris Saint-Germain 5-1 in this competition earlier today in Singapore. 2 goals for Alexandre Lacazette. Mesut Ozil was captain and he scored as well. Rob Holding and Eddie Nketiah also on the score sheet for Unai Emery's side. It seems strange not saying Arsene Wenger's side, doesn't it, when you refer to Arsenal, but we're going to get used to that.
They've had a tougher pre-season than Arsene Wenger, believe me. Been in contact with a couple of players and they said it's been really, really tough. I think Arsenal's biggest problem over the years is pre-season wasn't so tough and it was a little bit of an easy ride.
Yeah. Well, it's paid off with a big win in the competition we're witnessing here. Manchester City and Bayern making their final bows. Here's Bernardo Silva. Cool defending by Rafinha. Particularly good clearance though. It's up rather than away. Here's Bolton. And Bernardo Silva again. Luke Bolton once more. If City can get themselves back in it before half-time, it would give them a huge lift. Laporte finds Zinchenko. This is better from City. That's lovely play by Brahim Diaz. He's got away from Alaba. It's a good effort too. Ulreich in the right place.
I've been impressed with him, Brahim Diaz. I think he's technically very, very good. He takes the ball on the back foot. He's got good vision. In tight areas, he's got a little turn of pace. Very strong as well for an 18-year-old.
He struck that well. Goalkeeper was in the right place. Well, down but not out, City, you could say, as they strive to find a foothold. Here's Zinchenko. Once again, Bolton is the man out wide, but that's a poor one, which is cleared by Alaba. Wagner gets his head to it, but it drops for Laporte.
So Jonathan Myers now got a problem because he's not sure whether to get tight to Bolton because he's ran him once or twice. So now he's just staying 2 or 3 yards off him, which is giving the wide man a little bit more room to play in.
Here's the lively Diaz again. Mecha. Diaz once more. Oh, that's a very good effort.
How good's he been? He's been very, very good. He was playing on that left-hand side. He was just coming inside, getting in between the lines. It was good play. Nice little layoff, little 1-2. He's just trying to whip it into that top left-hand corner.
He's played in the Premier League. He's made his debut in January of this year in a win against Newcastle. Together made 10 appearances in the senior team in all competitions last season. He looks a very, very confident boy. He was singled out for praise actually by Pep Guardiola after the narrow defeat by Dortmund on day one of this competition.
Have a look at the look that Frank Ribery gives young Jonathan Meyer, because he left him short with a pass. He was absolutely fuming with a youngster. Hospital pass, we call them in the game.
Yeah. He's got a face like thunder, Ribery. He's had a bit of a torrid time, Jonathan Meyer, and yet his team are approaching half-time with a 2-goal lead. Here's Rafinha, who set up the first goal so splendidly well, finding the man who finished the second equally brilliantly. Here's Chris Richards, American who was born in Alabama, formerly of FC Dallas, which is a partner club of Bayern Munich's. There's Sandro Wagner, who wants to get up and find a header, and he's won a free kick for a handball. He wants to take it quickly.
He does that better.
And that he's done. Here's Robin. More problem here for City. Ian Robin. Good tackle by Laporte.
It's not a place Emerick Laporte wants to be. 1v1 inside his own 18-yard box up against Ian Robin. He was twisting him inside out.
He's going to take the corner himself, Robin. Now retired from Dutch football, with his country having failed to reach the World Cup. A very good corner by his huge standards. The run is by Richards. It's only half cleared. Eventually Coman is denied the opportunity to get a foot on it. It's hooked away.
Good battle going on between Sandro Wagner and young Cameron Humphreys. He's one of the strongest centre forwards in the Bundesliga, Wagner.
Here's Bernardo Silva. And he does have comparative experience in this Manchester City side, even though he himself is only 23.
So wide right for City's on all the time, because Jonathan Meyer and Rafinha, the two fullbacks, are playing ever so narrow.
This is Eric Garcia. Now Aymeric Laporte. Little space here for him. He's driving forward, but very good interception by Rafinha. Suddenly Frank Ribery has ambitions at the other end, picks out Coman. Here's Vil. Took fairly tidy in centre midfield. That's a deliberate shirt pull and an inevitable yellow card for Bernardo Silva.
Well, in any league you play in, that's a yellow card. Maybe a little bit harsh in pre-season, but good skill. Nice little drop of the shoulder, went past two players, Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden. Nice footwork, that. Little pull of the shirt, you're always going to get a card.
Sheer frustration from Bernardo Silva, who was comprehensively outwitted by the 19-year-old central midfielder.
Big season ahead for Bernardo Silva now with the addition to Riyad Mahrez. He's got a fight on his hands now for his place.
51 appearances last season for City, and by no means all of them as a starter. Four minutes to go to half-time. Meyer with the clearance. It was by Douglas Luiz, who wants the throw, but is going to be denied it by the referee pointing in the opposite direction. I wonder why Ribery at 35 has suddenly decided to carve his number into his hair. I mean, he's been around long enough.
Do what you want. Do what you want, John.
But we all know he's number 7.
When you've got that many titles and that many trophies in the cabinet, do what you want.
Fair point, well made. 8 titles, 5 cups, over 600 career appearances. That's quite a record. Another one who no longer plays international football. Now then, can Bayern finish the half strongly? Chance for Coman, and it's into the shins of Garcia for a Bayern Munich corner.
Just hanging on slightly every time Bayern go forward. That City back line just panics slightly, and you would, by the way, when you face 9 Robben and Kingsley Coman and Ribery.
Well, Bravo's made a couple of outstanding saves already.
Wouldn't want to lose a third just before half-time.
No. Ribery will take the corner. It's going to be an in-swinger from the Frenchman. Out to Robben, who's going to hit it. Oh, he didn't hit it terribly well.
Just on his wrong side, wasn't it?
Yeah, again, it was the two of them trying to hatch something, wasn't it, with their guile and craft.
Yeah, if that's on the other side and it's on Robben's left foot, you'd fancy you'd make that connection a little bit sweeter.
That's nicely done. Here's Ribery again. Coman on the ball now. It's a nice turn. This is Rafinha, and now Robben. Rafinha. Climb for the header is ultimately unsuccessful from Meriton Shabani, but he's already headed one in this evening.
Yeah, it's well defended actually from Zinchenko and Phil Foden, because Arjen Robben was desperately trying to shift the ball onto his strong left side, and they showed him down the right side, which was his weaker foot.
Manchester City Brains Trust are just planning the half-time speeches. See if they can get themselves back into this game. Here's the Brazilian midfield player Douglas Luiz. Saw David Luiz earlier playing for Chelsea. Foden with a touch.
See if City can just work a diagonal wide right a lot quicker, that passes on to Bolton. There's too many touches.
Here is Bolton. He's got Bernardo Silva darting down the channel. Not a great first touch by the Portuguese international. But here's Foden. Other than the scoreline, there isn't too much that I don't think that Pep Guardiola will be desperately unhappy about.
I think especially the first 10 minutes, Man City players, midfield especially, was setting traps for Bayern, making them play out into midfield, and they were closing them down in these sort of areas, winning the ball back high, and then getting this man with Bolton in the game a lot.
Yeah, that was a good ball to him by Bernardo Silva, but then the subsequent ball by Brahim Diaz was less effective. Final few seconds of the opening 45 minutes. Just a couple to be added on. Douglas Luiz finding Zinchenko, now Foden. Bernardo Silva. Direct from him, goes all the way and scores! That's a terrific goal by Bernardo Silva, and a massively uplifting goal for Manchester City right before half-time.
Deserved as well. Good run from Bernardo Silva, but the run from Luke Bolton was ever so good. Look, just on the overlap, he takes the fullback with him, allows him to cut inside on his strong left foot, and you fancy him. Sven Ulreich's looking straight down the barrel of the shot, couldn't do anything about the effort. Deserved from Man City just before half-time. Deserved their goal. It's a nice strike.
No doubt about that. Lovely finish by Bernardo Silva, low and precise. Ulrich no chance. Well, they thoroughly deserve that for their industry, effort and creativity and positivity in the first half. Came on as a substitute for the injured Riyad Mahrez and has got his side right back into the game. Might change Niko Kovac's half-time team talk a little. Here is the man who scored it. Now Zinchenko. City still buzzing as we approach half-time.
Popping the ball around really well, Man City.
Yeah. Here they come again. Bolton with the low cross. Again outwitted Maya, but can't get it past Alaba. But it's a corner for City, who may just have time to take it.
Yeah, since they've got the goal, and even just before the goal, they're still playing with confidence. Zinchenko's popped a couple of balls around the corner into Phil Foden, likewise with Douglas Luiz.
Corner taken short. They need to go get the ball into the box quickly, and that's wasted by Douglas Luiz. It's the last touch of the first half. Again, it's been a very, very high quality 45 minutes. City outstanding for 15 minutes, but then 19-year-old Meriton Shabani heading in a Rafinha cross to give Bayern the lead. Arjen Robben then scored an absolute peach of a second, but City got what they deserved. A splendid strike by Bernardo Silva, all to play for second half. Bayern Munich 2, Manchester City 1.